mission of the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Kapila was to distribute the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, which is full of devotional service. Having imparted that knowledge to his mother and through his mother to the world, Kapila had no more need to stay at home, so he took permission from his mother and left. Apparently, he left home for spiritual realization, although he had nothing to realize spiritually because he himself is the person to be spiritually realized. Therefore, this is an example set by the Supreme Personality of Godhead while acting like an ordinary human being so that others might learn from him. He could of course have stayed with his mother, but he indicated that there was no need to stay with the family. It is best to remain alone as a brahmachari, sannyasi or a vanaprastha and cultivate Krishna consciousness throughout one's whole life. Those who are unable to remain alone are given license to live in household life with wife and children, not for sense gratification, but for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So having instructed his mother on the subject matter of Sankhya philosophy, the principle of devotional service, liberation from material life through full absorption in devotional service, Lord Kapila decided to leave after taking permission from Mother Devahuti. Having fulfilled his mission, he didn't want to remain there anymore. His entire purpose was to impart the philosophy, the transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy to his mother. And the moment that was completed, he left her, and then it is said here that he pursued his own left home for spiritual realization. Just to set an example, though he is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord himself, acting like an ordinary human being, so as to teach us. So there are many things here in this Leela between Mother Devahuti and Lord Kapila. Though Mother Devahuti had taken a position of a disciple, listening to the instructions of son to her own son, revelation about the purpose of life, about the path through which that purpose can be achieved, revelation about the ultimate goal of attaining such perfection in devotional service. These were enunciated in detail and this entire revelation of Lord Kapila is called the Sankhya philosophy of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now Sankhya means actually analytical knowledge. So one may wonder where was the analytical knowledge in this entire part, in this entire series of instructions. In fact, it is very analytical in the sense from the position of the living entity trapped in this material body, which is of a different nature, Brahman, trapped in the material nature, how it can be freed. And what are the difficulties that the living entity has in this material body? Why it is considered to be bound in this material body? Even though all life symptoms are there, we say this is a life of bondage. So what is that bondage? So all the different Panchabhutas and all the subtle elements and how they were all described as creating this material body around the spirit soul as a covering. And it is the living entity, though he is a person, how he cannot free himself from this bodily identification by following the path of fruitive activities or karma, which everybody else is doing in this material world. Then by performing devotional service, which is also activity like fruitive activity, there are also activities with all our senses. We act in devotion service also, for any other purpose also. The very same body is acting. Karma indriya and jnana indriyas are acting. Whether you are a devotee or you are not devotee, same indriyas are acting. So through analytically he has explained how, even though the activity may be same for external purposes, but if the activity is for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is called devotional service. So activity is same. So the principle of Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate, that definition of bhakti was very analytically explained by Lord Kapila to Mother Devahuti in a way in which she can understand. What is that way? By engaging in this kind of activities called devotional service, it awakens one's original Krishna consciousness, it awakens one's Swarupa as the servant of Krishna. And can even be a Jivan Mukta in this material body. Such devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Transcendental Lord, when such activities are carried out under the directions, faithfully under the directions of the spiritual master, it is guaranteed that the spirit and matter will separate. Its bondage, the knot that ties the soul with this material energy, the knot called ahankara, or the false conception of self, will dissolve, and as a result, the living entity, even in this body, can experience liberation from the three modes of material nature. Like a resonance. If this material body, mind, intelligence, ego, system, this entire system is like a shadow self. There is a real self and there is a shadow self. The shadow self. Why it is called shadow? Because it resembles the original. Then it's called shadow self. Shadow resembles the original. Now, what is the resemblance of the shadow with the original? This yantra also has a mind. This yantra has a jnana indriya, karma indriya functions. Because the soul has karma indriya, soul has jnana indriya, soul has mind, soul has intelligence. So this system also has intelligence, mind, everything. So this system is also created by the material energy. And the living entity, the jiva, thinks he is this body. And then all the bodily limitations is experienced by him, which is that birth, death, old age, disease. Otherwise, this self does not have all these things. That is exactly the reason why the self is never satisfied with, is always dissatisfied because of birth, death, old age and disease. So very nicely, the illusion that is created for the jiva through the three modes of material nature, facilitated by the material nature, by the force of kala, guna, kala and karma, and how to become free from these three influences, guna, kala and karma, by serving the eternal Lord. So this here transcendental knowledge of Sankhya philosophy is full of devotional service. Normally, is full of devotion. So normally speaking, whenever we talk of service, we think our bhakti, we think it is not analytical. Moment anybody says that, okay, the path of self-realization to serve the Lord, naturally that is bhakti yoga. They think bhakti yoga is not analytical. But we saw here how it is analytical, how the self-purification happens, why it happens, how this body is running, though it is matter, why it is acting like a spirit. There are logical reasoning and answers given for all these things. And analytically, why continuous engagement of our senses in service of the Lord purifies us. Because of the touch of the Lord, it purifies us. And the Lord is the source of all purifying energies. And the Lord is the one who is the source of everything. So if there is any lack of knowledge will come. The deficit knowledge will manifest in the heart. Everything about the jiva is fulfilled in association with the Lord. The jiva is complete only in association with the Lord. The part is completely satisfied only when it rejoins with the whole. It is not analytical. Perfect analytical, reasoned knowledge about the soul, who is part and parcel of God and God Himself. And also this entire creation, what this creation is. Millions of billions and billions, unlimited living entities in this material world are there. And they're all given the free will to do, either engage in fruitive activities or choose devotional service. So with all this knowledge, Devahuti was fully settled and ready to take up 100% devotional service, and Lord Kapila left her and she continued her devotional service and attained perfection. So there are many concocted ideas about Bhakti Yoga, which is all defeated here. Where Bhakti Yoga is considered to be some kind of an intermediary stage of worshipping the Lord, after which your identity and Lord's identity are all one. And when they are one, then there is no Lord, there is no I. Identity itself is not there. Throughout this discussion, Prabhupada, wherever possible, has differentiated these two, the living entity and God, how they are different, how one is the source of everything, whereas the living entities are sourced from the Lord. And the understanding that somehow spirit, matter and spirit only, that Mayavada philosophy that there exists matter and spirit. Matter is variegated, spirit is no variety. And we at the end of self-realization, or self-realization means ending up all kind of worship and everything. The Mayavada philosophy or the impersonalist a caution is required here. When we hear Mayavada, when we encounter Mayavada philosophy, they also encourage worship of deities, of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, all different deities. And that's very ritualistic also, very strict also with all those things. But ultimately, the person who innocently goes there won't understand that the seed, the ultimate thing that is there behind the mind of every Mayavadi is that one day I am one with God. That is the contamination. So that contamination is more. Often more dangerous than, for instance, if you take the different schools of thought in this country. If you take strictly the Shankara school of thought, they're very, very strict about everything that is there in the Puranas, Vedas, everything. They have to do puja properly, you have to worship properly, this vidhi, that vidhi, all details they will talk about from the Vedas. Because that is considered to be a means to ultimate realization of oneness with God. And which they themselves, they admit and accept that this is not something that becoming one everybody cannot become. It takes time, it's a slow process. So for all practical purposes, their day-to-day practices of their own self, the Mayavada sannyasis as well as all his followers, they all appear to be giving great relevance to deity worship and all these things. Give great importance to all those things. By looking at that, they will have beautiful, temple with elaborate worship of, Krishna deity, all those things. But in the back of their mind, or something else is there as the ultimate goal. So existence, absolute existence of the personality of Godhead is not there. They say that personality has that nirguna, impersonality, imperson, becomes saguna person. So they say it's saguna worship. Through saguna they can go to nirguna. So, but they don't concoct. They go according to what the scriptures say, Vedas say, very meticulously. Just like we go very meticulously about Pancharatrika Vidhi and you should not do this before the deity, that, all, so many rules are there. They also are very elaborate. Then you take modern schools of thought, like for instance Ramakrishna Mission or Vivekananda. The Shankara school of thoughts, school of philosophy, they don't recognize them. They think they are upstarts. The traditional Shankara school of thought, they think they are upstarts. They cut short all, they have no respect. Yatomat, tatopat. Yatomat, tatopat, the Shankaracharya don't believe. They say, no, you have to follow the Vedic, path. Exactly what is there in the Vedas, exactly you have to follow that, they say that. So they're considered as an upstart. Or Arya Samajis, they're all considered as upstarts. Not traditional school of thought. They have a starting somewhere, somebody started. Especially during the British times. This was the earliest, in India, all the intellectuals were pulled towards this Arya Samaj, Theosophical Society, all these kind of things which are concoctions of Indian philosophy, westernized. The traditional Shankara school of thought got westernized, cut short all these things, and for common man to easily understand, they cut short all the procedures. Then further, so many other kinds of general classification, so many different types of impersonalists are there. So very clearly, at least in India today, the impersonal school of thought is a traditional one, very traditional one, which is coming, Shankaracharya, even before Shankaracharya also is coming, the Vedic tradition. The impersonal thing, and then the other group is people who are not really in that line. Different philosophies, their modifications of different philosophies, but basically all of them are impersonalist. So that is why among the impersonalists, the traditional school of thought, or Shankara school of thought, they resemble so much importance they give for deity worship and all that. You can easily get contaminated. Oh, we are all one only. You go to a Mayavada run Krishna temple, all those things, everything is very personally done, personally taken care. Deities are taken as considered as a person, etc. But he's not an absolute person. That is the point. Just like we deity worship means what? We have to treat him like a person, no? So they have all those things. So very close it is. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, if you hear Mayavada philosophy, from them you can get easily lose your bhakti. Because it hits at the right, at the root it hits. All details are all similar. One paradigm shift, you stop being a Vaishnava. The characteristic of Vaishnava is Krishna is absolute personality of Godhead. He is a person. From him everything else is coming. Not from something else is there, from him Krishna is coming, Shiva is coming, etc., etc. are coming. Everything is Krishna and Krishna's manifestations. And for us a very simple process is given. Whatever Devahuti's instruction is given, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a modern version, he just said, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairaka Chandrika Vidaranam Vidya Vadu Jivanam Sri Krishna Sankirtana. By doing Sri Krishna Sankirtana, we are gifted with all education, Vidya, Vidyavadu Jivanam. And by doing Krishna Sankirtanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Cheto Darpanaha, our Chitta, Chetana, Cheto Darpana, our Chitta becomes cleansed of false ego, all these things. That power is there, because false ego has to go means knowledge has to come. If knowledge has to come, that knowledge is there in Sri Krishna's Nama. So by associating and serving Krishna Nama, our heart becomes purified and self-realization, liberation happens from the three modes of material nature. So important is the Nama. It is through Nama that we practice the devotion service, the very same devotion service which is instructed to Mother Devahuti. Now simply by chanting his names, by Sankirtana, we can get the effect of awakening our Krishna consciousness. One should have full faith in this, just like Mother Devahuti is told to have full faith by Lord Kapila in what he instructed. Similarly, we should have full faith in the instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Krishna Kalikale Nama Rupa Avatara, Krishna is in the midst of us and in the form of the holy name. In the holy name, Nam Nama Kari Bauda Nija Sarva Shakti, he is manifest within the vibration that me and you create with our tongue. In that vibration, the original vibration comes and resides. The original vibrating, the eternally self-sounding Harinama in the spiritual world descends into the sound that you and me produce and becomes non-different from that sound. This is very important. Becomes non-different. That is why, because today we have capacity to chant the material with the material tongue. So if I chant Krishna with the material tongue, that one I can only chant material vibration. Spiritually I cannot utter. Why? Because to spiritually utter you need spiritual tongue, spiritual mind. But who is the one who is materially chanting? The soul only. Soul is in a handicapped situation, identifying with this material body and chanting with the tongue. and if the material mind is hearing. The Lord is so merciful, He says, does not matter. In your materially vibrated sound, I non-differently, my original nama will enter and it is same as that. What seva you give by chanting and hearing the materially generated sound, that seva is as good as serving my eternally vibrating nama. So that is where Shraddha is required. When we chant, when we perform Sankirtana, if Shraddha is there, then you will touch the transcendental dimension of the nama. If Shraddha is not there, then you will not transcendentally touch, you will only materially touch the nama. If Shraddha is there, you will touch both. And that with Shraddha, when you touch both, then the experience of touching the transcendental knowledge you will not get immediately. But touching is a fact. And purification is a fact. Chetodarpanam is a fact. And when Chetodarpanam is complete, when the heart is cleansed, then our spiritual mind will chant, our spiritual tongue will chant. Just like I gave this example, if a heater is there and if you have a gloves on your hand, you touch, you won't feel the heat. But heat is having its effect. You are close, you are touching, but you cannot experience. Existentially you are close to the heater, but experientially you are far away. Similarly, when we start as chanting, start our japa as newcomers. Existentially, the Supreme Lord, Shuddha Nama, is with us. He's taken avatara in it. But we cannot experientially feel the sweetness of the name. We cannot experientially feel the Satchit Ananda energy. We cannot feel. Just like your hand is on the heater and your rubber gloves, we cannot feel the heat. Heat is the energy that is coming out of it. Similarly, the Harinama, Nama Kari Baudha Nija Sarva Shakti, all Shaktis is emanating from this Nama, anybody who chants. But you cannot feel it. If you are Shraddha, then you will keep associating with it. And slowly that rubber gloves will melt and then heat will start coming. Experience. The cloud will start going. The cloud of ignorance is the rubber gloves. Now we chant with ignorance. Then we have to chant with Shraddha. And that when you chant with Shraddha, then you get the effective touch of the transcendental name of the Lord. And touching, you get purified, then you get experientially the spiritual sound. Just like Prabhupada says, you cannot hear the spiritual sound with your material ears. The Lord is very merciful. You may not be able to hear, but you take the benefit of my association, so that one day you will be able to hear. Just simply associate with that. I am there in all my energies are there in that sound. Just simply associate. So direct process Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given of cleansing our heart and go beyond all these rituals and everything, and only Sankirtana is the Yuga Dharma. The Lord has decided that all the other elaborate things are not possible in Kali Yuga. Following the Vedic path is not possible in Kali Yuga. Vedic rituals, ceremonies, all these things are not possible. Sankirtana will bring the result of all those things to us. It's not that the Vedic rituals and Vedic way of life, all these things are not that they are irrelevant. Because ours is Sanatana Dharma. These are all eternal. They are all symbolic of the spiritual life in the spiritual world also. But that doesn't work. That path doesn't work. Now, Sankirtana will work and will awaken all the thing that is required to enter the spiritual world. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you explained about chanting with Shraddha. So, can you throw some more light on this, Prabhu, like chanting with Shraddha?
Yeah, Shraddha. Just like I gave simple, from the same example you take. If you do something, the scriptures say, your hand is on the heater. Hand is on the heater. Let's say you are blind. You do not know any other way whether you are on the heater or not. You have a gloves in your hand, you also put the hand on a surface. Hey, hold it here, you will tell. Still you are not feeling heat. But the person is telling you, no, your hand is on a heater. Have faith. The rubber will melt and heat will come. So that is called Shraddha. Shraddha in the words of the scriptures. Shraddha in the words of the Acharya, that it is true. And so with that Shraddha, now what is the Shraddha here? I am in association with the Lord. I am getting the benefit of association of the Lord. That Shraddha, if it is there, etamam prabhadyan setam tatem bhajamiham. As you surrender, I reciprocate. So Lord has come as the incarnation. If you don't even surrender with faith, oh my Lord, you have told you are the holy name, you have told that Nam Nam Akari Bauddha Nija Sarva Shakti, okay, I believe in it. Immediately the effect of that starts coming. So Shraddha is very important for, if you have Shraddha, then the Lord will immediately reciprocate with that. If you have no Shraddha, then it is just like, even the Lord reciprocates, you will not be able to receive it. When you have Shraddha, then you are continuously anticipating. You are chanting with anticipation. When will I get purified? When will I get purified? Fully. So many things come with Shraddha. That Kripa Apeksha also will come when there is Shraddha. Because Shraddha means what? The entire process, how it affects everything. So you are having that feeling of faith. Faith is a feeling. Faith is a truth feeling. Shraddha is a truth feeling. I feel there is heat there, though I am not experiencing. This is true. It is true that I am touching the heater. So that is Shraddha. So with that Shraddha we should. What are the Shraddha points? Lord has incarnated. The aprakata sound has entered the prakata sound. The prakrita sound means the sound that you and me generate. Aprakrita sound means a transcendental sound. The transcendental sound has entered the prakrita sound. And once it has entered, and the prakrita sound is now invested with all the Shaktis. Whether I am able to experience that Satchidananda Shakti or not is immaterial, but now I am touching it. Because the Lord has said that I am coming to touch you. If you touch me with attention, I am there. That's Shraddha. If you attentively chant and here you are touching me, the Lord has said. And the Lord is very merciful. You beg the holy name for freedom from material energy and freedom from misidentification and realization of who I eternally am. He will bless. So Shraddha, so basic Shraddha is there. Of course, before even that, you have to have basic Shraddha that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is first Shraddha. God, the absolute truth, is a person and everything is Him and His energy. Ho gaya. Then nothing it exists. Me, you, all our energies of Krishna, only Krishna exists. Krishna with His energies exists. That's Shraddha. Then that Krishna is there in this, descending into this holy name. And what all my Guru has told, chant attentively, what you should do, what you should not do, all those things. Shraddha builds up. Now Shraddha is in the background, attention is in the foreground. Shraddha is in the background, it doesn't consume attention. It is a feeling, it's throughout. Just like you can have a constant feeling and give your attention to something. Feeling does not disturb attention on doing. In fact, feeling enhances attention on doing. So that feeling is in the background. That is the reason this background has to be prepared by reading Prabhupada's book, reading Namamrita, by contemplating on it, thinking about it. All these statements that Prabhupada has told about the holy name, chanting, everything, just repeat it, contemplate, sit about it, think about it, write about it. Let it get into your subconscious. And then that will act as a very nice background when you chant. Chant and hear. Chant and hear and repeat. Background, this Shraddha is there. When you're chanting, you know I am chanting, I am vibrating, I am doing seva for the Lord. Each mantra after mantra, seva. For a person, it's a person. So it's a personal activity. Japa is a personal activity. There are two persons, Nama Prabhu and you. You are offering a seva and he is receiving it mercifully. For that you have to have faith that he is there to receive it. See, that faith is required. Faith, where does it come? Yes, it's stated, yes, he is there. Not that I am creating, that he is there. No, Shastras have said he is there in this sound. In the ordinary sound that I vibrate, Shastra says he is there. Ho gaya. That Shraddha is required. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.